It is a cool October night, high school football, the second week of district play, and two teams tonight who have balanced offenses so far this year. The homestanding Cedar Rapids Prairie Hawks trying for another victory in district play, while Hempstead looks for their first tonight. And there is a very big crowd at Cedar Rapids Prairie High School at John Wall Stadium, where we'll start things in just a few minutes on MC22.
To Logan Wolf, captain, 7 play 75. To A.J. Green, Marcus Orr doing a nice thing with Cale O'Neill on the kick. Very next possession.
We are at Cedar Rapids Prairie tonight. More district action on a chilly October night at John Wall Stadium. It's Bob James along with Jerry Koala. And Jerry, we've got two teams tonight with similar records, and both need a win here in the second week of district play.
Yeah, early in the district play, they set themselves up for district play. For last week's opener, Prairie wins theirs, Hempstead loses theirs. So yeah, if they want postseason activity, all games are critical.
Absolutely they are. Now let's take a look at some of the key players tonight. First of all, for the visiting Dubuque Hempstead Mustangs, they are led by Aiden Dunn. He can throw, he can run, and he's done it both successfully so far this season.
Yeah, he's a two-year starter, having gotten his feet wet in this 4A play a year ago, so that helped with that experience coming in this year. Bob, he can run, he can throw. As he goes, the Dubuque Hempstead offense goes.
And meanwhile, for Cedar Rapids Prairie, the man that has led the charge for them, especially last week, Nick Pearson, 37 totes of the football a week ago and 374 yards rushing.
He can really get into a rhythm, and head coach Mark Bliss can get that feel for him. He knows when Pearson's ready to go. He knows when that offense is really clicking, and he calls the right place for it. And Nick Pearson certainly is a fine running back for the Prairie Hawks.
It's going to be a fun night. It feels like football, and there's a lot of people here. We'll kick it off next on MC22.
High school football on Mediacom MC22 is brought to you by McGrath Family of Dealerships, 5 Seasons Tire, the Tom Riley Law Firm, Klinger Paint and Interiors, Heartland Hearing Center, and by Extreme, powered by Mediacom.
You see John Wall Memorial Field here on the south side of Cedar Rapids. Cedar Rapids Prairie's home field as the Hawks get ready to take on Dubuque Hempstead here on a cool October night. You can see the cheerleaders. They've got the long pants and long sleeves out as the Dubuque Hempstead team comes out of the locker room ready to go. Both teams dressed a little warmer than they have been prior to this point during the season. And Cedar Rapids Prairie, as the bells are ringing in the background here up in the press boxes, they get ready to try for another home victory tonight in what could be a high-scoring affair. We'll have to wait and see. Let's first of all check out our keys to tonight's game for the visiting Mustangs from Dubuque Hempstead.
Well, Hempstead comes in kind of a revamped offense, as they had been a triple option team for many years. Now they've gone to a spread offense, and they've got to keep that potent, balanced offense going. They run and pass, very well, and it's good balance. And on the defensive side, they've got to get gap-stop defense. In other words, the way Prairie runs their offense, they get into those gaps and they get there quickly. So Hempstead has to fill those gaps to stop that Prairie attack.
And of course, Prairie runs the single wing offense. What are the keys to the game for them this evening?
They've been on a roll here the last couple of weeks. They got that high-octane running game going, and last week, as we talked about, Nick Pearson with his 374 yards and 37 carries. If they can do that again tonight, they will. And then on the defensive side, they have to deny Aiden Dunn. They have to keep him in check to keep Hempstead from exploding with a lot of offense and scoring.
Well, as we mentioned in the open, Dunn just had a huge week last week, throwing for 258 yards through the air. He's also rushed for 284 yards. He's thrown for nearly 550 so far this season for Dubuque Hempstead. And on the Cedar Rapids Prairie side of things, we mentioned Pearson's 37 carries for 374 yards and the 4 touchdowns last week. 20 carries, 150 yards the week before. He is just 52 yards shy of that magical 1,000 mark heading into tonight's game. And there's the coach for Dubuque Hempstead. That, of course, is Brian Kuhl. Kuhl is in his 4th game, 1-2 record. He took over earlier in the season for Mike Hoskins.
Absolutely, and he's got some head coaching experience behind him. From 2010 to 2014, he was at Western Dubuque High School, and he got a modest 19-20 record while there, but 3 playoff appearances. He wanted to be sure that we noted that as well. So he's got a lot of football experience. Plus, he was an assistant coach at Hempstead under Mark Ehlers from 2001 through 2010. So he's got a lot of football experience, and he's got this Hempstead team ready to go.
Amir and Forsland back to receive for Cedar Rapids Prairie, back at around their 5-yard line. The opening kickoff, and we are underway on MC 22. A nice return up to near the 30-yard line, and that's where Cedar Rapids Prairie will start after the nice return by Colton Forsland, the 5'9", 160-pound junior who plays wide receiver and defensive back for the Hawks.
So it's important for each of these teams to be able to establish themselves. The running game, of course, for Cedar Rapids Prairie, and then on the defensive side, Dubuque Hempstead has got to get those defensive linemen and those linebackers into areas where they can knock off that running game.
Hunter Williams, the quarterback for Prairie, and offside against Hempstead as 1, if not 2 of those defensive linemen jumped into the neutral zone awaiting the first down snap.
Sometimes coaches do that intentionally, Bob. Let's see how anxious they are to get across that line of scrimmage, and they'll have their tight end. He's down, he's crouched with his elbows on his knees, then he just pops up as if to change his position, and it caused Dubuque Hempstead to jump.
Well, there's no question that Dubuque Hempstead got Prairie's attention after nearly walking into the Unidome and knocking off Cedar Falls a week ago. And a very good defensive play on first down for Hempstead.
Well, they've got to fill those gaps, as I talked about. And once they see where that ball is snapped to, who it's snapped to, then they just get right after that player. They can't allow them to get through that line of scrimmage.
It's up 2nd down and about 8 yards to go. You see the offensive starters tonight for Cedar Rapids Prairie. Trying to push that pile forward. Single wing offense for the most part. Everything stays in tight. Maybe a yard on that play as we take a look at the defensive starters tonight for the Mustangs, who made the trip over from along the Mississippi River. Dubuque Hempstead with Ward, Lovett, Millman, Hudson, Molt, Trilk, Faber, Wright, Hancock, Sabers, and Ostrander out there, the starting 11.
Lovett, the leading tackler for Dubuque Hempstead, with 21 coming in.
The left-handed toss over the head of the intended receiver. Was trying to get it out to Gabriel Burkle, but incomplete from Hunter Williams, and that brings up 4th down.
One of the things that Prairie was able to do a couple weeks ago when we saw the Kennedy game was to establish the running game by getting that passing game started. They threw a long pass to Johnny Jones. They ended up throwing a touchdown pass in the first half to Gabe Burkle, who was the last intended receiver there. But it's going to be different here tonight with this Dubuque Hempstead team coming in with an adrenaline flow.
4th down and 7 back at the 33, so Prairie obviously will have to punt the ball away. Nice kick will come down at about the 32. Fair catch called for. Knee goes down there as well. That's Zach Sabers who pulled it in for the Mustangs, who will have pretty decent field position. A 35-yard punt.
Also now it's Hempstead's turn to try to establish itself, Bob, offensively. Again, they've gone to a spread offense, and Aiden Dunn is the trigger point of this offense.
And Dunn starts in Shotgun formation with two backs to his right. Fakes the handoff, and he'll keep on first down for good yardage. A first down, as a matter of fact, as he picks up a dozen to the Mustang 45. Starting lineups tonight for Hempstead on that offensive line. You see Gronow, Harden, Hudson, Lovett, and Millman, and then the specialists as well, including Ostrander, Hancock, and Harrigan at the wide receiver position.
They're very large in that offensive line, Bob. They average about 265 to 270 in that offensive line.
Dunn wants to throw and throws over the head of the intended receiver, Jackson Ostrander, trying to get it to him on the near side right in front of the Cedar Rapids Prairie bench. The defensive starters for Cedar Rapids Prairie tonight stack up like this. We've got Each, Bohr, Paulson, Stoner, DeGroot, Swartzendruber, Scott, DeGroot, Longwell, Abdi, Fetters, and Bremer. Dunn very patient on second and long. Comes near side, has the intended receiver Ostrander, we targeted on the last play, and he'll get up over midfield into Prairie territory at the 48-yard line.
Well, their cushion is about 7 to 8 yards out here as Chance Bremer on the defensive coverage. And they just ran a quick out here. You see Dunn with a short drop and a quick out pass. Good enough for some significant yards.
3rd and 3. Maybe a little confusion in the Hempstead offensive backfield. Kamari Stanford back there alongside Dunn. Fakes the handoff to Ostrander, keeps it, and has first down yardage over the Prairie 45. They'll mark him at the 42.
Outstanding play there. Aiden Dunn does a nice job to fake the jet sweep, and he looks at the defensive line linebackers to see where they're at. He fakes that jet sweep, and he has a running gap to his left. You see it on your right here. That's where he just runs right up through. He looks, it's a run option, either hand it off or keep it yourself. Look for that gap to run through.
Diving forward at the end of that play, Michael Bohr had a hold of his ankles to make the stop. Hands it off to Stanford this time. And he is able to work his way for a couple of yards to the 40.
Stopped in there by number 10, Master Bohr.
You see right up the middle, here's Kamari Stanford getting the handoff. That was a direct handoff to him. There was no read option to it whatsoever. Might see that here.
2nd and 8.
Coaches will play with that, try to set themselves up for other options.
Dunn rolls left, throws back across his body, if you will, twisting. That right-handed throw along the far sideline, incomplete, intended again for Ostrander, who clearly is one of his favorite targets. He's been trying to get the ball to him quite a bit tonight.
Well, he didn't know he wasn't going to drop that because he had Lane Swartzendruber on the underside of the receiver, and then Brody Jones was on the top side of that receiver. He would have had to drop one in perfectly to complete that. Nice coverage by the Prairie Hawks downfield.
Ostrander just 4 catches on the year thus far, but 80 yards, including a long of 44. The favorite receiver of Dunn is Eli Harrigan, who's caught 23 balls coming into tonight's game. Dunn trying to go for first down yardage again, as he has a couple of times on 3rd down. Didn't work this time, though. Gain of only 1. 3rd down 7 on the way, or 4th down and 7, with Ramirez making the stop defensively for Prairie.
Prairie stepped up that defense that time, and they saw that it was just going to be a straight running play. You see Ramirez, number 52, he'll just fight off the block. He's a big, strong lad and a junior. It's his arms wrapped around you, you're not going to go very far.
Prairie defense holds. They're not buying the fact that they're going to punt here, not really sending anybody back deep, although they do indeed punt. It will hit and bounce into the end zone, hitting at the 1-yard line, so it's a touchback, and Prairie will start 1st and 10 after a 39-yard punt and a long drive for Dubuque Hempstead, keeping the football for over 4 minutes in the opening possession.
7 plays that they ran. They got from their own 33 to the Prairie 39-yard line, so they've showed that they can move the football. And on that punt, and you just had alluded to it, that Prairie wasn't going to buy the fact that they were going to punt, so they have all 11 guys within 7 yards of the ball. But realizing that if this punter wants to kick it, he can kick it in the end zone. We'll take it on the 20. It's exactly what happens.
And there you see Mark Bliss in his 5th year at Cedar Rapids Prairie, a 31-15 record, and just such an impressive career record. 190 victories and only 17 or 72. Boy, 17, that would be impressive. 190 and 72 in his career.
Stopped in there by number 9, Zach Saber.
And what we always have to mention, Mark Bliss has 4 state championships, with the places that he has been in his past. He's from Oklahoma, coached in Oklahoma and Kansas before coming up to the state of Iowa. Has really kind of continued on. Craig Jelinek started a long time, program here. Then that was followed up by Mike Morrissey for the 6 years he was here. Continued on with some excellent success.
And there goes Nick Pearson, the workhorse, if you will, of the Prairie offense, and he has first down yardage up over the 31-yard line as the chain gang heads north.
Well, Bob, that's one of the things that Prairie is good at. Watch it. It's a direct snap to Nick, and the quarterback, Hunter Williams, goes to the left. Linebackers have to be able to read that and find out where that football is, and sometimes by the time they see where it's going, they're already being blocked.
Pearson listed at 5'10", 175. He looks bigger than that. Nice misdirection play, and going for a touchdown is Tariq Amir. He'll go all the way for the touchdown. 69 yards for pay dirt.
Absolutely, what a wonderful play that was. It was just a simple counter draw to the inside. Pull your right guard, your right tackle across. The flow went to the strength of the formation, and Tariq Amir did a nice job to get through that initial line of scrimmage past the linebackers, and he's got some good wheels to get himself downfield. Watch this. Here's the inside handoff. Look at those blocks. Nice block by Colton Staub downfield, knocking people to the ground, and Tariq does the rest of the work.
Amir nearing 500 yards on the season. That is his 6th touchdown of the year. And now the extra point attempt on the way by Carter Griffin. High snap, nice job with the hold, and the PAT good, and Cedar Rapids Prairie strikes quickly on a 3-play drive, 69-yard touchdown run, and they lead 7-0 over Hempstead. We'll be back on MC22. There you see the man celebrating on the Prairie sideline, and why not? Tariq Amir, that 69-yard touchdown run. And everybody perhaps a little worried about Pearson, but there are other weapons on that Prairie offense, that's for sure.
No doubt about it. Tariq coming in with, as you were saying, closing in on 500 yards, but he played last year, gained 800 yards himself, but he plays that wing back position, and they run so much off tackle, and the ball is snapped directly to running backs and quarterbacks, and there's so much activity back there that you forget about the wingback coming across for that counter play, and it just worked perfectly for the Prairie Hawks on that play.
Bit of a short kick, fielded at about the 9-yard line. Coming near side with it is Ostrander, and he's knocked down at about the 22.
And then you come back with your kickoff team to go down and lay the big wood on him. Don't let him get a good return, as Aiden Moeller with the tackle on that kickoff team got down quickly. You'll see Moeller, 26, coming into your screen. Here just shortly, you got to zip downfield as quickly as you can, avoid blocks, and you put a shoulder pad into him.
Beautiful tackle by Williams, and Hempstead, who was able to maintain a nice drive to start the game, but had to punt it away, and then Prairie struck quickly. We'll see if they can move the football this time. Short pass, good for 4 yards to the 26-yard line, and that one is completed to number 39. That is Kashawn Hill.
That's a good first down play. Got to stretch that defense back a little bit, let them know that they have to honor the pass. They'll take 4 yards on a first down pass play.
Dunn will keep again. Up the middle. He'll be short of the first down. Third down and about 3 yards to go as he is tackled right at the 30.
Well, they're kind of taking a page out of the playbook of Cedar Rapids Prairie, just a read option right here. What a very good fake at all. Prairie didn't buy it much. Though they did get, a nice 4-yard pickup out of it.
And Prairie jumps offside. That will give, if that is indeed what the call is, that'll give Hempstead a first down. And it will.
So bring up that first down, Bob, with the ball out to the 35-yard lines and a fresh set of downs.
Dunn rolls to the right. Nice pressure from that defensive line, and he'll be run out of bounds. Getting through there right away was Michael Bohr. He has been called quite a few times already tonight.
Well, there's only 2 receivers in the pattern, and they were both covered nicely. And they needed to have a tight end come across the field to give him a crossing pattern back the field because Aiden Dunn has nobody to throw to. He does pick up a few yards, but he ran a long way to get those 3 yards.
Clayton Scott also coming up from his linebacker spot over on the near side to force him out of bounds. Ball came loose, and the 2 teams can't decide who has it, but the referees say it is Wahlert football, or Hempstead, excuse me.
Yeah, the nice little swing pass out to Eli Harrion. They're just trying to get their playmakers involved as quickly as they can. Eli, one of them, but nice convergence there by the Prairie Hawks. Lane Schwarzenegger does a great job of coming up from that strong safety position.
Third and long for the Mustangs outside the 35 at 37. Dunn will roll and throw and very nearly intercepted. He wanted to get it to Harrion again. Good defensive coverage, though, by 35. That's Clayton Scott, who was able to knock it away and nearly intercepted.
Again, great coverage by this defensive backfield team. They cannot be influenced to come up on the run at all until the running back crosses the line of scrimmage, so they have to play pass defense as long as necessary to make it work. And as Dunn's rolling out to his right again, he only has 2 receivers in the pattern, at least on this side. Both were covered nicely. Prairie doing a nice job.
It was a flag down for holding on Hempstead. That was declined, obviously, by Prairie as they want to get the football back. Back deep to receive is Colton Forsland. He's standing just inside his own 25. It's a low kick. Hits at the Prairie 37 and takes a home bounce to about the 42, where it's down by Ty Hancock, in good field position for Cedar Rapids Prairie after a 21-yard punt.
Didn't get a nice punt out of that at all. He's punting into a light breeze for one and went off the side of his foot.
First down at the 42 for the Prairie Hawks. Williams, the lefty, throws complete, gets it to Forsland, and he has a first down before he's gang tackled by the Mustangs at the 46-yard line of Dubuque Hempstead.
Perfect quick hitting first down play. Trips formation, you got your middle receiver just doing a little quick out pattern. Hunter with nice delivery. See the blocking downfield, Johnny Jones right there on the inside, and Forsland doing a nice job to get beyond him.
Delayed handoff. Not a lot of running room. Able to get maybe 1 or 2 yards on the play was Amir.
And again, with the wealth of talent, skills people that Prairie has, you can line running backs up in different areas. This is just a simple draw play, just to see how that defense is going to respond, how the offensive line can get it blocked. And Tariq able to pick up 1 yard. But again, they've got 3 and 4 people who can carry the football.
Williams throws. He's got Forsland again inside the 40. Brought down at the 38-yard line. And he was tackled by Ty Hancock.
That's the same play that they ran on the first down play. They ran it just not this time to the left side. You see Forsland. Interesting that Johnny Jones is throwing a block down there that's not being called while that ball is in the air. There's contact made. Contact being made on that. There's a block being thrown while that ball's in the air, downfield. So.
And false start against Prairie.
Is that not a penalty? Okay. So you got to be cautious. That pass has to be thrown and caught before any physical contact can be made downfield.
Ball at the 43-yard line. There is Amir again, inside the 40 to the 38. Short of the first down, it'll be 4th and a couple.
Well, he lined up in that Wildcat, direct snap to him. They had 10 players from tackle to tackle, a yard, 2 yards off the ball, just leading the way. Got back to the line of scrimmage that they were at prior to the illegal procedure penalty.
Prairie's going to go for it, 4th and a couple. And now they may think differently. Timeout by Dave Bliss and company.
Well, they had 2 seconds on the play clock, and I don't think they were quite ready to snap the football, so Mark Bliss had to take that quick timeout and figure out what they want to do. But, you know, you're in 4-down territory here. You're certainly not going to punt away the football with a 7-0 lead, and you're averaging 6 yards per play. I'm sorry, I undersold it. 8 yards. 8 yards per play. You're bound to get a couple, at least 3 for the first down. Look at that Cedar Rapids Prairie coaching staff there with Mark Bliss in the middle.
Yeah, one thing we haven't seen a lot of so far is Pearson. Will he get the call here? He hasn't actually been on the field a good part of the time offensively, but he is in that huddle now.
Well, you know, certainly you want to get your top athletes the football in their hands for the playmaking potential. It'll come, you know, slowly but surely. It'll come. I think you knew it after he carried the ball 37 times for 374 yards last week. Dubuque Hempstead, you know, etched number 43 in all of their minds. Well, okay, well, so we'll throw a few other wrinkles at him. He's in the back, and he'll get a direct snap here. Watch this.
Yep, he does, and a high snap, but he has no problem getting the first down to the 33, and that'll move the chains for Prairie. No flags.
And that just drive off that offensive line. The ball is snapped. The center, left guard, left tackle are just moving. Watch them on that left side, and then they've got the fullback back in there as well, Clay Scott as an extra blocking back. And then you know, then you've got the scheme, what they use. The linebackers got to see who's getting the snap. And I've noticed a couple weeks ago when they were playing Kennedy that they got more yardage on running plays when they directly snapped it to running back versus to the quarterback in a handoff.
Zach Sabers made that last stop for Hempstead. Pass complete inside the 20-yard line. Nice grab by big 86 Gabriel Burkle.
Absolutely, he's 6'7". Just put it up there. It wasn't, you know, he was covered nicely. You know, they used that play action to keep those linebackers intact and give Gabe Burkle a chance to get downfield. And he does, and he works on the defensive back down there, Jackson Ostrander, at 6'7". Yeah. He's going to win a lot of high pass battles.
And that's exactly what he did there. Ostrander was right there on the coverage, but couldn't stop that play. Nice fake with the ball. Pearson running right side. Swarming defense, though, brings him down. And I don't think any gain on that play. They're actually going to mark him for about a yard loss, actually.
Well, you're not going to get big yardage on every play that you run. You know, you're going to lose yardage now and then. And Hempstead did a nice job defensively, get him covered.
Tarek Amir for Prairie, 4 carries and 81 yards thus far. And of course, that 69-yard touchdown run on the Prairie Hawks' first possession. He gets the call again.
Well, it's the same play that he scored on the 69-yard touchdown run as that counter trap. And, you know, Mark Bliss is going to continue to run this. He's got enough experience. He's seen what his offensive line is doing, how they are controlling that defensive line of Dubuque Hempstead, where they're getting their quickness. And, you know, it's all that's building into Tariq Amir time.
1 quarter in the books. Prairie has the lead and the football deep in Hempstead territory when we come back. Back at John Wall Stadium at Cedar Rapids Prairie. They're all showing up tonight in more ways than one, with a lot of yellow in the stands, and Prairie with the football just outside the 10-yard line. Pearson. Nice job again by that Hempstead defense. Got maybe a yard or two. It'll be 4th down. Max Molt Culbertson making the stop.
Well, they're kind of keying on him. And that direct snap gets to him. They know that he's going to run the football, so he's got to avoid the blocks and gang tackle.
4th and 2, just inside the 10-yard line. Prairie takes a long look at the offensive sideline. Mark Bliss, also the offensive coordinator for the team, brought that single wing offense with him. Had a lot of success with it his entire career, and including here at Prairie. And timeout called. Nope, delay of game as the play clock ran out. Prairie spent a little too much time looking to the sideline that time.
And I think they're still going to give him the timeout that he wanted. He wanted to have it called before he lost the 5 yards on the delay. It's going to cause, you know, a 4th down and just about 8 yards to go for the 1st down.
Yeah, one official signaled timeout and the other signaled delay of game, but I think they they just hadn't got it to the head official, so it will be the timeout and not a 5-yard walk-off. No flag, as you see, he's picking it up.
So when play resumes, it's going to be 4th down and 2 from just inside the 10-yard line.
Timeout, Prairie.
We've seen what Prairie did on their last 4th down play on this same possession back at their 38, at the Hempstead 38-yard line. There, they direct snapped it to Pearson and ran for 5 yards. So I would assume they'll have some of the same, if not the same, play. They'll just squeeze down their splits. They'll put more running backs back there. There'll be 9 players within 6 yards of each other and just go forward.
Yeah, and that offensive line has been getting a push. We'll see if they can get enough to get him the 1st down. And like you said, when you do the direct snap and head straight for the line, it's hard to stop. 4th and a couple at the 9-yard line as the offense heads back out to the field.
Jack Halverson at center. He's got a 2-year starter as well. Number 50. He's moved out to tackle. On the left side. We got big number 69, Blake. Will Falliker.
Pearson got the direct snap and then kind of went back into the backfield a little bit. Made the turn, made the touchdown. Took a hit from Keegan Trilk, but looks like there must be a flag. Oh, there, I see it at about the 12-yard line, holding against Prairie.
So Hempstead's doing a nice job of trying to penetrate into those gaps. They're really coming after Prairie as much as they can. Really, it's the way to stop this, misdirection offense. is to fill those gaps with linebackers.
This is going to change Prairie's approach. They're going to attempt a field goal now, or be about a 39-yarder.
It's a 12-yard holding penalty. It was 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage, so it's 4th and 14.
Carter Griffin setting up for 38 or 39-yard field goal, right kind of in between. And the kick is short. Just couldn't quite get it there. And so the Hempstead defense holds with the help of a penalty too. And they'll take over 1st and 10.
Not many times is Prairie going to run 9 plays, Bob, and go 50 yards and not come away with at least a touchdown, let alone attempt a field goal. But that's what happened there. So you kind of got to credit Dubuque Hempstead with some nice defensive play.
Aiden Dunn and company back out there for, this is just their 3rd possession, right? The teams have been hanging on to the football, especially Prairie in this game.
Well, they ran 7 plays in their first possession and 5 on their second possession, both resulting in punts. Here they are, possession number 3.
At the 20, Dunn to throw. The receiver didn't turn around to look for the football. He wanted to get it to Brady Freiberger, but he was not expecting that in any way.
Well, there must have been some kind of a change in pattern depending on the amount of cushion that was out there in that defensive back. And I think that Dunn was expecting him to run a short hook because there was so much distance. And I think the original pattern was some kind of a fly or go route.
Dunn gets spun around, keeps pumping those legs, and is finally brought down by Moses Each.
Jake DeGroot was in on that as well. Again, much like Hempstead has to do with Prairie's offense, Prairie's defense has to identify where that ball is going and quickly get to the ball carrier. Dunn really does a nice job of faking. He's really deceptive. He's got some pretty good wheels.
3rd and 1. Lots of personnel changes for Hempstead. Last of which Andrew Hafel came in. Dunn hands off, and that is good for 1st down. Zach Sabers was able to cross the 1st down marker.
Just bash forward. Just pound away in the middle. Get a nice push off that offensive line, and then Prairie's defensive line, again, Ramirez in there, doing a nice job of standing up his offensive counterpart, but not to the point of being able to slow him down.
And Prairie guilty of jumping offside again.
Got to be disciplined. Got to wait for that ball to move before you cross that line of scrimmage.
That last run by Sabers, a real tough one. He took about 4 Prairie defenders to finally bring him down. 1st and 5 at the 38. Dunn, beautiful fake, keeps it for 1st down up to near midfield.
Nice fake. And he just followed that offensive line block. He had 4 or 5 yards before he was even hit. Watch this, he does a nice job to run fake there. You see the opening that he has to run through.
He made the right choice not handing off to Sabers too, because there was a defender just standing there waiting on him to get the football.
Sometimes the linebackers are trying to anticipate where that ball is going and they get themselves out of position.
1st and 10, Dunn will pitch it to Sabers. Nice pursuit by the Prairie defense to slow him down. They finally do bring him down. Clayton Scott was there first, and now a fumble. Do the officials agree with the Prairie defenders?
Clayton Scott did a nice job to
yes,
initially
they do. It says Prairie football.
It was just a sweep action to the left side. Clayton Scott does an excellent job of slowing the ball carrier down. You see it's just a sweep action out to the left. You see Scott getting to him first, and then Prairie is able to converge on it And the ball's loose. Yeah, you can see where it's loose.
Sure is. I'm not sure that Saber's knee ever actually got to the surface there. First down for Prairie right at midfield, and Pearson will get about 5 on that first down carry.
So they create a turnover, give themselves an opportunity of a short field. They only have half the field to go.
Pearson's averaging 10 yards a carry so far. Hempstead doing a nice job bottling him up.
Yeah, slowly or surely he's kind of getting his number called about every play, if not every other play. It just took a little while for Coach Bliss to recognize that Hempstead now has to start playing everybody honestly.
Pearson will call his own number again on the direct snap and has first down to the 40 or 37 of Hempstead.
He's got a tremendous running style. He makes sure he catches the ball first, and then he just follows his blockers. Watches the direct snap to him. He fakes the Tariq Amir. Now he's running the football, following his blocks, but he picks up those legs. He's a powerful runner. Always running forward downhill.
Williams gets the shotgun snap. Amir gets the call.
They do a power formation, power offensive line formation to the right, and they pull their left tackle as one more lead blocker. Tariq is, Tariq at 5'7" can get behind those guys and hide a little bit. Watch him from the right to left. You see Holton Staub pulling from left to right. He's looking for somebody to block. And there's Tariq looking for an opening to run through. Hempstead does a nice job to fill the gaps and string it out.
A 4-yard gain on first down. Without the turf and all the rain, there might have been a cloud of dust behind that one. First down, Pearson. No, he didn't get the first down. He'll be shy by about 1.5 yards. And Prairie will be facing a 3rd and short just inside the 30.
And this is Prairie football right here. They're going to try to wear down that defense. They just keep pounding away and see if they can't wear out that Hempstead defense.
There's Amir cutting it upfield for the first down. Gets away from the defense for a moment and is finally drug out of bounds. Over there on the near sideline, Maxwell Culbertson made the stop.
Excellent play, just a snap back to the quarterback Hunter Williams, and he turns and hands off. It's like a basic off-tackle play, if you will, as Pearson was leading through that hole. And Tariq doing a nice job of finding some gap, picking up a few yards, getting the first down.
Direct snap, Pearson. Not much running room for him at all that time. He finally was able to dive for about 1 yard. And Molt Culberson again was there to make the stop.
So from the Wildcat, the direct snap back to Pearson, and he fakes to Tariq Amir right there, turns, and then he just tries to get through that gap, closes quickly. Give him the benefit of 1.
This is the 7th play of the drive for Prairie. Every one of them has been on the ground thus far. No reason to bust up a recipe that's working. Amir, not much running room for him that time. He'll lose a couple back to the 21. 3rd down and 11 yards to go. Caden Lovett there defensively for the Mustangs.
Defensive tackle position. You'll see him burst through this gap right here to hit Tariq. Tariq is a little slow to get there. In a misdirection play offense as Prairie is doing, and that single wing activity in the backfield, sometimes that the timing can get off and allow the defense to catch up.
Williams may have to go to the air here. He hasn't done it yet on this drive as the receivers, 4 of them, 2 to each side. As he stands and awaits the shotgun snap. Going to throw down the center of the field instead. And has a wide open receiver for the touchdown. That's Lane Schwartzendruber.
Well, you spread your defense out that way. You send 2 well out to the left, 2 well out to the right. It takes their cornerbacks and their free safeties or free safety, if you will, and it just left that tight end wide open down the, you see Lane right there at the left of the screen, and nobody picks him up. The linebacker who was right on him was on a blitz.
Yep.
Mark Bliss, you know, guessed rightly, and gets Lane Schwartzendruber to run down the middle of the field for the score.
Yep, you called it perfectly. Came on the blitz and then left Schwartzendruber unguarded with 5:01 to go here in the second, and a chance to go up by 2 scores for Prairie. Extra point is up and through for Griffin, and it is indeed 14-0 Prairie with 5:01 to go in the first half at John Wall Stadium. Hempstead, after the turnover, now needs some points of their own, and they'll get it coming up on MC 22. There you see Lane Schwartzendruber. That touchdown grab, just his second catch of the year and his first touchdown, a 24-yard grab on the pass from Williams to put Prairie up by a score of 14-0. 8 plays, 50 yards. Prairie has been able to sustain their drives in this game thus far.
Well, you know, they don't throw the ball very much, but when they do, it's effective, Bob, and that was evidence right there on that particular play.
Low kick, bounces at the 24, picked up out of the air and brought to the 34, and that's where the Mustangs will start 1st and 10. And unfortunately for the Mustangs, Ty Hancock, who got that ball and returned it, came up a little bit gimpy, but it looks like he will stay out there. He seems to be okay. Dunn hands off to Stanford. Picks up about 3 yards.
So that Cedar Rapids Prairie defense has done a nice job to keep Hempstead from penetrating deeply into territory and scoring, and they haven't given up any big plays. Hempstead just continues to try to chip away at it. You know, Hempstead, as I talked about, has a huge offensive line.
Really, the only big plays we've had in this game are the 2 touchdowns. The 69-yard run by Amir, the 24-yard pass from Williams to Schwartzendruber. Other than that, the defenses have been holding pretty well on both sides, though Prairie has been able to consistently move the ball. Dunn on 2nd down will have 1st down for Hempstead as he's to the 45-yard line.
Doing a nice job. I'm sorry, Bob.
No, I was just going to say Stanford came up with out a shoe at the end of that play, and he'll put it back on.
Well, they tried to use that jet sweep fake, and it drew the Prairie linebackers and defensive line to a direction and allowed them to get to the 1st down.
Dunn trying to draw that defense off with a hard count. It almost worked. Their bodies moved, but their feet didn't. He will keep this time, and Prairie was not buying any of that sale. 2-yard loss. Stoner to Groot again there defensively.
Well, they just kind of jammed things in the middle, didn't allow Aiden Dunn to get anywhere. Dunn's getting up a little bit slowly at this point, but you can see that they just close it down. You see Stoner to Groot right there to begin with. Didn't buy the fake at all. Sometimes you really got to fake much better. You've got to sell it to the point that that defense buys the fake.
3 possessions each in this game thus far. Hempstead, 18 plays, 5 first downs. Prairie, 25 plays and 5 first downs. 10 players on the stop defensively for Prairie. The only player that wasn't part of that tackle that was out on the field was Schwartzendruber. He was just saying, I think we got it.
You see the nice play set up here. You can see the blocking was there, but Prairie does a nice job to close it down, and Hempstead just not maintaining. Again, Ramirez, the big guy in the middle, the defensive tackle.
And here they all come. 3rd down and 10. Dunn going to go deep along the near sideline over the head of the intended receiver. He wanted to get it to Kashawn Hill. Overshot him, and it is 4th down and long.
You know, Mason Mahoney on the coverage there for the Prairie Hawks. He just wasn't going to buy anything. You can't let anything deep, especially on the 3rd down and 10. And so often, Bob, we see these teams, they just need to get 11 yards to get a 1st down, and they try to go for it all, especially when you don't have any momentum going. You're down by 2 touchdowns. Trying to go for the long one. You can see how much distance there was from the end of that pass to where the receiver was.
Prairie to get the ball back. They still have 1 timeout remaining, but plenty of time with over 2 minutes. The punt will hit and then decide it wants to head back upfield. It'll be down at around the 14. A 42-yard punt, and not great field position for Cedar Rapids Prairie. Up by 14. We'll see what they decide to do here with 2:09 to go in the half.
Wow, this just plays right into the hands of Cedar Rapids Prairie. Doesn't matter where they have the ball in the field. They can just run it from any place because they execute very well. They have confidence in their ability.
Direct snap. Amir comes near side, cuts it back at the hash mark, and will be brought down at the 19. Got about 5 on that 1st down play.
It's really just like an isolation play is what it is. You let him get to the outside and just start working against the defense. He had linebackers that he was trying to avoid and cornerback, and he was able to pick up, you know, some good yardage.
Checking that play chart on his wrist. Throws, and in and out of the hands. A perfect pass. Forsland just dropped that one.
And the perfect play, too, because the outside receiver had run the cornerback off. The inside receiver, the trips formation to the left, kept the linebacker at bay. It'll be to the right of your screen. Hunter delivers a nice ball. You see Forsland wide open on that short out pattern.
Yeah.
Knew he was excited about it. He was turning the run before he got it in his hands.
He would have been able to do a couple of things there. Get the 1st down and get out of bounds. But the incompletion stops the clock as well. Williams sets up the screen, throws it over the defense to Amir. I think he's got the 1st down, right around the 25.
Nice play call, but what a nice little touch pass by Hunter Williams over top of the hard charging defensive line and linebackers. Right to Amir. You see it, he looks off to the left, and all of a sudden everything gets set back to the right. There's just enough yardage to get the 1st down.
Clock runs with 1:10 to go. Williams wants to throw again. And incomplete. He was looking for Edwin Gahey, I believe. No, not Gahey, but Jones. But it was incomplete and almost intercepted.
And again, Johnny Jones is the leading receiver on this team, and Bliss doing a nice job. Mark Bliss, that is the coach at Prairie, doing a nice job of getting everybody else involved. And then all of a sudden, now we'll throw you the Johnny Jones athlete. Ty Hancock doing a nice job of coverage there for Dubuque Hempstead, right with him, stride for stride.
Williams to throw again, and he will be brought down back inside the 20-yard line. And that brings up a 3rd down and very long as Brock Millman gets the sack for Hempstead.
Well, just a penetration right through the middle. Watch Millman, 52, just throwing aside Thallaker. And just, wow, that's some kind of determined defensive tackle charge, wasn't it?
Indeed it was.
Wow.
And that was a big play. They needed that as the clock rolls now with just 30 seconds to go. 3rd down and 18. Direct snap, Amir. He's able to get over the 25, and he's run out of bounds well short of the 1st down. It'll be 4th down and punting time.
For Prairie, that's just a safe play.
Yeah.
It's a safe running play that they don't have to worry about getting an interception. And they're going to pick up some positive yards, even though it brings up 4th down and long.
Sam Broxick in there to punt. Hempstead brought the pressure, but they weren't able to get to him. The ball will hit at the 45 and take a Prairie bounce. It'll be down just outside the 30 with 10 seconds to go in the first half, and a 42-yard punt.
Yeah, they did a nice job after they scored on their last possession, keeping Dubuque Hempstead from moving too much movement. They did move the chains one time, forced them to punt. Prairie ate up a little bit of time here on this last possession, getting into halftime. They're going to take the 14-0 lead.
Gonna bring up a 1st and 10 Hempstead. The ball on the 31-yard line.
Dunn gonna throw the long ball in the last play of the half, and he's got his man. Holy cow, is Bliss not gonna be happy. A long bomb completed to Kashawn Hill for the touchdown, and there are no flags.
Well, the last thing you want is anybody to run by you. You can't sit there and watch them run by you and then turn and try to run with them. You've got to be running with them, even if they're going to stop and cut it off and make a pattern out of it. Holy moly. You'll see this, and Dunn just gets crushed at the end of this pass. You'll see the Groot just taking him out, but all of a sudden the tight end is all by himself.
On a perfect throw.
Wow, it was. Beautiful throw, nice execution.
And the Prairie crowd a little shell-shocked, and who can blame them after doing a wonderful job. We talked about the fact that there hadn't been any big plays. There had been none for Hempstead. Well, there has been one now, and that extra point is good. Makes it 14-7.
Certainly makes a different game out of this, even with the 1 second to go. They go in at halftime, and they'll be able to recover. But that's all the momentum that Dubuque Hempstead is going to be able to get in this first half, is the last few seconds of it. Albeit they did close the gap, it just isn't going to be enough.
They've cut the lead in half on that 69-yard pass from Dunn to Kashawn Hill. It took all of 9 seconds, and so we'll have the kickoff, and then we'll go into the halftime.
I guess you don't want to count anything out yet, Bob,
No,
until
that's
the double
exactly
zeros
right.
and the ball has been stopped.
You just never know, but that Prairie defense caught asleep a little bit there. I think they obviously must have not been looking for that.
Probably not. You know, Bob, it'd be easy to say. There's no question. But you still cannot let anybody get behind you, especially if you're a free safety. And they had 2 of them back there. Kind of almost playing a prevent type defense.
Yeager, after that PAT, will kick it away now for Hempstead.
I wouldn't be surprised if they just squib it along the ground.
That's exactly what they'll do. Picked up, and the 35-yard line. Now the ball loose, picked up by Forsland, but halftime has arrived with Prairie having their lead cut in half with 1 second left in the first half. The Hawks lead 14-7 over the Mustangs at the break at John Wall Stadium. We'll be back with halftime highlights on MC22. The band performing here at halftime with Cedar Rapids Prairie out in front of Dubuque Hempstead by a score of 14-7. We've got police cars out there and everything. Quite the halftime intermission and wonderful performance happening here at Cedar Rapids Prairie, and a very close football game too. Just 1 score difference, and Dubuque Hempstead will actually get the ball to start the second half after they scored with 1 second remaining in the first half. Let's take a look at the halftime highlights from this one.
Up against with Cedar Rapids Prairie on this third play from their second possession. Tariq Amir with a counter play, running 69 yards for the score, and the Prairie Hawks up 7-0. And then it was Dubuque Hempstead trying to get something going on one of their possessions, but the running back, Zach Sabers, is hit by Clayton Scott early in the run, and then he loses control of the football as they gang tackle him, and recovered by Jake DeGroot for the Prairie Hawks. And the Prairie Hawks then, as they get into the second quarter, would spread out that Dubuque Hempstead defense and pass to Lane Schwartzendruber, covering 21 yards for their second score, made it 14-0. But Dubuque Hempstead wasn't going to lay down and die. Look at this, nice hard charge, and the stack by Brock Millman on Hunter Williams. And this was the play just before the end of halftime that you don't ever want to have happen, but the long bomb that went from Aiden Dunn to Keyshawn Hill for the 69-yard touchdown pass closes the gap to 14-7, and giving Dubuque Hempstead a little bit of momentum going into halftime.
Indeed, they'll get the ball, as we mentioned, to start the second half too. The stats fairly even. The rushing yards obviously more than double on the side of Cedar Rapids Prairie. That big pass accounting for most of the yards through the air for the Mustangs from Dubuque Hempstead. But we're nearing the start of the second half. Pearson with 8 carries, 23 yards. Williams passing 5 for 8, 62 yards and a touchdown. And Amir with that long run, over 100 yards in the first half, 10 carries, 111 yards all told. And for Hempstead, Dunn 3 for 8 through the air and 80 yards, and he's also rushed the ball 9 times for 50 yards. As the Prairie Band continues to perform here as we await second half action on MC22. Back at Cedar Rapids Prairie, you see the lights. It's a cool night, not too much of a wind, but temperatures no doubt hovering around 50 degrees, and it looks like it's going to be a wet Saturday around here. The fans not minding the chilly temps, hoping that the home team, Prairie, can hang on. They lead by 7 at halftime. They'll have to kick it to Dubuque Hempstead, who scored at the very end of that first half on the long touchdown pass from Dunn to Keyshawn Hill. And, you see, we are ready for that kickoff. Cedar Rapids Prairie out there and ready to boot it away is A.J. Walter. And back deep is Jackson Ostrander, who's been back there all night. 3 actual Mustangs deep, but he is the furthest back at the 5-yard line. And he'll grab it at about the 6. Boy, he got hit again at about the 27-yard line. And fortunately, he is not him that's down, but one of the Prairie Hawks, number 14, I believe that's Samuel Topka.
Yeah, Samuel's the one that delivered the blow, but he's the one that's down right now. It was quite a collision. I don't know that's why the penalty flag was thrown though, and it could very well be. You'll see Topka will come right in here. There. took one on the left side of the face, if you will.
Looked like it.
But I haven't seen what the call was, because the penalty was thrown by an official just in front of the Prairie bench. And if he's throwing the flag at that, you know, he's 18, 20 yards away.
It's good to see Topka get up on his feet.
Yeah, I see Sam every day in school. He's a nice young man.
Going to back it up to inside the 15. It looks like the penalty was against Hempstead.
Took one off the old chin on that one, but you know, that's what you ask of your defenders going downfield on the kickoff return, the kickoff team. You really sometimes give up your body to try to make that hit, because you're fighting off blocks, you're running at top speed, and sometimes there's a collision that you just can't control.
Well, and that's one of the reasons they've made it easier to call a fair catch and a touchback at the high school and college level both. Incomplete. Harry and the intended receiver. The ball bounced up in the air but wasn't able to get it. Mason Mahoney there defensively for Prairie.
Mahoney right around him, almost picked it off. He just tipped it up into the air, but he just didn't let Harry on at all get his hands on that pass. I'll tell you what, this Prairie defensive backfield has done a great job of pass defending tonight.
2nd down and 10. Dunn throws a pass. He's got his receiver, that's 16, A.J. Walter. Walter up over the 20 to the 23-yard line.
Simple screen pass. Prairie doing a nice job of defending in other areas, but not on this side. Kamari Stanford slips through the offensive line across the line of scrimmage and wide open for the screen pass. Gain 11 for the first down.
Stanford, the 6'2", 220-pound senior, right next to Dunn in the offensive backfield, and Dunn will roll and throw just over the head of the intended receiver. Once again, trying to get it to Harry, and they haven't been able to connect tonight, well, as they normally have.
And here's the Baxter Board does an excellent job from the defensive end position. He doesn't allow Dunn to get to the outside and have a better shot of making a better pass. He forces Dunn to stop, turn, and throw, and Dunn just couldn't get turned and deliver a better ball to be caught.
Another score here in the Metro tonight. Kennedy leading Cedar Rapids, Washington 35-7 at halftime. Nice run. Stanford up over the 40-yard line.
That all Kamari Stanford, Bob. I see a lot of white jerseys standing around clapping, going, yeah, Kamari, keep on going. This is all isolated on him. You get the handoff up on the right side. Does a nice job to get outside of DeGroot, and just downfield he goes, taking those Prairie Hawks, a number of them, to get him down.
But not before he got the first down to the 41-yard line after a 17-yard pickup. Dunn to throw. Completes to Ostrander. And Ostrander has another first down into Prairie territory near the 45.
And I'll bet you Brian Kuhl at halftime apologized to his team, because I think they got away from their game plan a little bit in that first half. Prairie wasn't allowing them to run very well, and they didn't throw the ball very well, but he's going right back to what got them to where they are. I mean, that's a first down pass completion of 9 yards, 10 yards, and a first down. And that wasn't what they were doing in that first half.
Handoff to Stanford, and nowhere to go. Good defensive support by number 1, Keenan Francis, and also, I believe Moses Each was also back there.
Yeah, Keenan Francois does a nice job. He's a tough little character at number 1 out there at linebacker position. He'll sneak right in, but Gabe Burkle does a nice job too from the defensive end position. Clayton Scott, he just had an all-out blitz on, and it worked for a 5-yard loss.
2nd and 15 back at midfield. Dunn wants to throw. Defense didn't go for the fake, and he threw the ball low and incomplete, intended for Andrew Hafel.
And again, Cedar Rapids Prairie getting coverage on those receivers out there. They're identifying who the receivers are, and they know exactly who it is that they are covering. You know, Jim Dostal is the defensive coordinator for the Prairie Hawks, and you see Dunn was going to try to get that ball earlier to his intended receiver, Andrew Hafel, but just couldn't because there was a defender right in front of him. Jim Dostal, a longtime head coach at Cedar Rapids Jefferson, where he still teaches today.
Dunn to throw on 3rd and 15, comes near side. Caught right along the sideline by Harrion, but short of the first down by 3 at the 38 or 39-yard line.
So they pick up significant yards. They still got to bring up 4th down and 4. 4th down and short. Prairie not letting anything go deep as they did at the end of that first half, as we remember. But Aiden Dunn doing a nice job of rolling out to his right. There's just great sideline reception work there by Eli Harrion.
Well, this is kind of no man's land. Do you punt? Do you go for it? It looks like they'll go for it. On 4th down and 4 at the 39. Dunn looks to throw, finds Harrion. Nice grab on a ball that was a little high, well over his head, but he's able to make the catch, head to the near side, and score a touchdown. There's the official signal on quite a individual effort by Harrion after making that catch on a ball that could have been missed. But then again, they say if you get your hands on it, you should make the play, and he did just that, and then he made another huge play after he caught it.
You see Eli Harrion, he's right in the middle of the field, and he's coming across. Cedar Rapids Prairie defender just overrun him, and now he turns on the jets, able to sprint the last 15 yards before the Prairie Hawks can catch up to him, and he dashes across the goal line, just gets that ball across.
The extra point is up, and it is through, and Hempstead trailed 14-0 with 10 seconds to go in the first half, but now just 3 minutes and 15 seconds later, they've tied it up. I guess there was 1 second left at the end of that play at the end of the first half. That's why I said 3:15. Regardless, it's 14-14 just into the third quarter, and it is very quiet on the home side now at Cedar Rapids Prairie.
There's a lot of time to go. Prairie's going to get some more offensive plays here. But offensively, Hempstead is getting the better of that Cedar Rapids Prairie defense, and can't say it was a lackluster effort. They were just out of position. And if it hadn't been for Harrion, Dunn also had his tight end running down the left sideline, Keyshawn Hill, who had caught the pass at the end of the first half, wide open as well. So Dunn would have had his choice of 2, but you could tell from the pass that he threw that he was really targeting Eli Harrion the entire time.
Well, he's, as we mentioned earlier, the leading receiver on the team coming into tonight. He had 23 catches and only 1 touchdown, but his second touchdown there, and he targeted him a lot on that drive. 9 plays, 87 yards on that long sustained drive for Hempstead to start the second half.
And you remember, Bob, that started with the block in the back on the kickoff return, so it pushed them back further.
Prairie gets the ball back, goes through the hands of the return man. He's able to pick it back up, though, and look at Forsland go. Colton Forsland gets it out near the 40-yard line after booting it. And it was Renegans who made the stop for the Mustangs. I mentioned Harrion was targeted at least 3 times on that last drive. 2 catches, 50 yards, and that 39-yard touchdown reception from Dunn.
Sometimes broken plays like this can turn into big returns, if not scores. And if it isn't for Renegans, Forsland's still running.
There's Hunter Williams, 5 of 8 in the first half, 62 yards and a touchdown. As Prairie gets the ball for the first time in quarter number 3.
No, we haven't seen this yet. They've gone to an unbalanced line. We'll see if they get Tariq Amir. Nope.
Pearson keeps. He's drugged down by 33, Ben Manning.
Now that's something we haven't seen here tonight, and I'm sure Hempstead had seen it in the game film that Prairie had against Dubuque Senior. They go an unbalanced line to the right, direct snap to Nick Pearson. This is probably how he picked up a lot of his yards against Dubuque Senior last week, is if you don't adjust your defensive line and linebacking formation to the unbalanced line to either side, you can be out blocked by 2 players. And Hempstead did a nice job to defend that.
2nd down and 4. Amir gets the call this time, and he is dropped right at midfield. 3rd down and a couple coming up for Prairie.
Prairie just going back and forth, left and right, pulling guards from left to right, from right to left. They're running, off misdirection plays. They're running, direction. They've got about a dozen different running plays that they can run, that Mark Bliss is pared it down to right now based on what Hempstead's defense is doing.
And on 3rd down and short, it looks that Brock Millman jumped offside for Hempstead. That's the call, and that will be a Prairie first down.
Well, as heartbreaking as it is and momentum breaking, you still got to come down and play. Prairie's got a long way to go in this. Hempstead just has to get right back up, get up to the line of scrimmage, and knock them out.
Direct snap. Once again to Pearson. He picks up 10.
It's a thing of beauty, what they do. Well, and as I was mentioning, you got to first, who's getting the snap? There's Pearson. Now, obviously, you got to try to get to him, and by the time you're trying to make that lateral movement to get in front of him to make the tackle, you're already being blocked by somebody. So, in other words, that defense, Bob, is being frozen for just that split second, but that's enough time to get that Cedar Rapids Prairie offense and that running game going.
Well, and Williams, the quarterback, turns his back to the defense, and so if you wonder, even for a split second, does he have the ball? That's when Pearson runs right by you. Amir grabbed by the shoulder pad by Brock Millman.
Now, that's the same play that they scored a 69-yard touchdown run on back in the first quarter. And Millman doesn't grab onto him, though. He slices through that gap that was opened up for him. He runs a long way, so Millman pretty much saved a touchdown.
Second and 9, direct snap again. Pearson stacked up after about a 1-yard gain and pushed back to the 40.
That defensive line doing a nice job from guard, center to guard, and not allowing to be pushed or shoved aside. They're staying square to the line of scrimmage with their shoulder pad. You'll see the push right here. It's not very far. They're just gobbling up that middle. Now that'll open up, some misdirection things here, some sweep action to the left. So Hempstead has to be alert to that. We'll see if that's what Mark Bliss elects to do.
3rd down and 9. Pearson gets the direct snap, runs right, and will get the first down. Good effort by Pearson to get down inside the 40, 30, excuse me.
Isn't that a beautiful thought? You have confidence in the 3rd and 9 plays. You can direct snap to the Wildcat into your running back, and he can run for 10 yards. Stop us if you can. You watch us. Good blocking downfield, sealed the ends. And Nick Pearson doing a nice job. He's got some quick feet, lateral movement. He can get to where he needs to be.
Well, you mentioned getting 10 yards. That's been his season average coming into tonight. Amir gets the handoff from Williams. He'll pick up another 5 or so.
Now that's just the same misdirection play from left to right or counter play that they ran from right to left. They're just trying to see how Hempstead, which side might be the weakest part of that defensive line and linebacking core.
And we have an injured Mustang down on the field.
Sometimes you get caught on the bottom of that pile. It's a lot of massive humanity to be falling on top of you.
Looks like you've got a leg injury. We'll take a break here and we'll be back on MC22. You see Sabers, who's been a key member of that defense for the Mustangs tonight especially, going to walk off under his own power, but not putting any weight on that right leg, unfortunately.
Well, it's good to see him get up and walk off, but it's not very good to see that he can't move that right leg very well at all.
2nd and 5. Williams keeps, looks to throw, does throw, and it is complete. As he is able to get it to Clayton Scott.
He also had Gabe Burkle running a post route, or I guess a flag route, if you will, in the middle of the field. I thought he looked at Gabe right away and then just goes with the safety valve pass off to the left flat for a first down.
Inside the 20 at the 17-yard line. Direct snap to Pearson again, and he goes the same direction he did on that big 3rd down run earlier. Not quite as successfully this time, but he's still able to pick up about 7.
Well, now Hempstead doing a nice job of heading him off. They're beating the offensive linemen and blockers to the point of impact of that block. They're just getting ahead of us, so it's not allowing the Prairie linemen to lay a block. And I'm just talking about could be just one person. That was the person who made the tackle for the Hempstead Mustangs. That was Max Culbertson, who brought down Pearson.
Pearson again up the middle this time.
All right, so we'll just bash it out between the tackles.
Yeah. I believe he got the first down. Nope, he's a little shy, 3rd and a couple.
You'll see it, just another direct snap to him. Now he's so close to Hunter Williams, it's really hard to tell who's getting it. But as I noted before, that sometimes Prairie is better by doing the direct snap to the running back and letting him get through that hole versus to the running back and then a handoff. That whole half a second can make a big difference.
Keegan Trilk, the linebacker, came up and made the stop on that 2nd down play, 3rd and a couple. Pearson, excuse me, the direct snap, and he is short of the first down. Good tackle.
Oh, they'll go
for that Mustang defense, and he'll bring up 4th and 2. There was no gain on that play.
No doubt that they will go for it.
Play number 12 upcoming for Prairie. A long drive. They've had the football for about, well, over 6 minutes now.
Well, Dubuque Hempstead had it to begin their third quarter, and they took all that time to score on that touchdown pass.
Yeah, they were able to score with 8:46 left, and now Prairie with the ball for about the last 6.5 minutes. Pearson on 4th down got tripped up and did not make it.
I think he did, Bob.
Or he did at the end. Okay.
He dived forward, but he was tripped up behind the line of scrimmage, and he was able to get that momentum forward.
I saw what I thought was a Hempstead player celebrating, but I think it was actually a little, I don't want to use the word fit, but I will, of frustration, because thought maybe he should have got him stopped and didn't.
Right there, you see him get hit, and he just drives forward.
Keegan Trilk hanging on to make his 3rd stop of the last 4 or 5 plays. Now Amir nowhere to go, and guess who? It's Trilk again.
Playing some very inspired defenses to Dubuque Hempstead teams for as long as they've been on the field here for this possession by Cedar Rapids Prairie, to still try to come up with plays inside your 10-yard line when your back's against the goal line.
Over 7 minutes on this possession now, with play number 13 on the way. Prairie very deliberate on offense. They don't get in a hurry.
You still got a lot of time. There's no sense in getting a sense of urgency and maybe committing a mistake.
Pearson, the direct snap. And he'll be brought down once again for a short gain. 27, Maxwell Culbertson got the stop.
He's done a nice job of getting in there and making the stops on these running backs. You'll see a direct snap to him. It looks like there's a gap to run through, and then Culbertson reaching in there and making the stop.
Those linebackers doing terrific work. 3rd down, just inside the 10. Pearson, the direct snap again, and he'll be brought down just outside the goal line at around the 1. They might mark him at the 2, actually, 4th down. Looked like he was going to get in there, and then he had his feet taken out from him at the last moment.
Well, I really like the effort that Dubuque Hempstead is putting in on this defense. Ben Faber making the stop here But as you said, he has some running room to run through. Here's Faber right there, just getting up underneath him. They're still putting in that effort, not wanting to allow Prairie to get this touchdown.
What a drive. Prairie has had the ball the last 8 minutes and 46 seconds, and they're not done yet. They'll have the ball, 4th down, goal to go at the 3 when we start quarter number 4 on MC22 next. Back at John Wall Stadium at Cedar Rapids Prairie, and we have a good football game. It is 14-14 as we start the 4th quarter. I'm Bob James with Jerry Koala. So what's the call here, Jerry? 4th and goal at the 3. Is it another direct snap to Pearson?
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised if they go to an unbalanced line and just go power against defensive power.
No hesitation at all in that answer.
Well, we've seen what they've done. I've seen them a couple of times this year, and it's their bread and butter.
And lots of movement, but no flags.
They were trying to draw them offside is what they were trying to do, and Hempstead did a nice job to be disciplined. There's the direct snap.
And Pearson, it's close.
They've marked him short. They have marked him short.
They have. It is going to be Hempstead football and the Hempstead defense and the people that have made the long trip from Dubuque on this chilly October night celebrate.
Well, it's a 16-play possession that started back on Prairie's 37-yard line, Bob, that ended on the 1-yard line and short of the touchdown. The direct snap to Nick Pearson, and you see right away that he's hit by Molt Culbertson, and he just doesn't get that ball across the goal line.
Don't very often see an 8-minute, 54-second drive, and certainly one of that length that doesn't end up with any points, but that's what happened, and we remain tied.
And this is crucial here for Dubuque Hempstead to be able to get this ball out from where it is inside the 1-yard line. They don't want to play with any risky business at all in offense, and a lot of that is just keep going forward like they did on that quarterback sneak. They'll take the 1 yard to give them a 1-yard cushion, because you don't want to turn your back to the line of scrimmage when you're right there at the goal line.
Dangerous territory for sure. Dunn wants to throw, throws deep, and we may have a defensive holding penalty. We'll have to wait and see.
Well, you got to keep your hands off. Prairie's lucky that ball wasn't completed for another long touchdown pass.
He was definitely open, and it is a defensive holding penalty, and the Prairie defense has let Hempstead out of a pickle here.
Well, even at worst, you want to give them a 7 or 8 yard cushion out there in that corner and just turn and run with them. Just turn and run. Because I think if they'd have been able to cover that without any physical contact to get the holding penalty, they may have been able to sack Dunn because they were starting to get pressure on him.
Oh, out to the 11. Hempstead with a little breathing room now thanks to that penalty and a first down. Dunn will keep. Breaks into the secondary, has a first down over the 25 to the 26-yard line. Well, he is finally brought down by Nick Frio.
Boy, I'd hate to think that Dubuque Hempstead has broken the spirit of this Cedar Rapids Prairie defense and offense, but an entire team. Well, just a read option is what it is, and he just runs right by everybody. Hempstead offensive line doing a nice job of opening up a hole for him. more the quarterback runs, the more vulnerable he is to some kind of pain and injury.
Stanford fumbled the football. Prairie, well, a host of Prairie Hawks are there, and they finally do get on it. That ball was on the ground for a while, and the man who made the tackle on the last play, Nick Friel, will come up with the fumble recovery.
And so what you do is you create a turnover. You get the ball back, stop some momentum. You'll see Dunn with the read option, giving it the handoff to Stanford, and nothing on the inside. He not able to turn that ball, get that ball in the left hand, and doing a nice job is Brody Jones to rip it loose from him. And there's a mad scramble for it at the 10, 20-yard line. Unfortunate.
And that Hempstead defense, who stopped Prairie on their last possession at the 1-yard line, goes right back out there and sees Pearson take another direct snap, and they gang tackle him after a gain of 3.
I can't imagine any momentum shift has taken place here, Bob, even with Hempstead gaining a little bit on that goal line stand, and then all of a sudden now they turn it back over. But that defense is back on the field for Dubuque Hempstead.
We're seeing a lot of direct snaps to Pearson. We'll see another one. He makes a nice cut and gets down inside the 5, but they'll mark him down first and goal at the Hempstead 1-yard line.
Very determined run by Nick Pearson. He's fast. He hits that hole very quickly. They give him just a little bit of a crease. It doesn't have to be a very elongated blocking scheme. Look, it does a nice job of finding the crease.
Keeps those feet moving down to the 1-yard line. Another direct snap. Pearson straight up the gut. They won't stop him this time. Touchdown, Prairie.
Well, you got to give your running man a chance to get a touchdown here today. And this is where he begins to carry the load now into this fourth quarter. As we talked about, we didn't see him a lot in that first quarter as head coach Mark Bliss was just setting up his other players. As we look at the direct snap right to him, right up the middle, you see that push of that offensive line, that fortress up there that moves that defensive line backwards. But now all of a sudden we get into the fourth quarter. Now we're seeing more Nick Pearson and what he can do.
That's his 11th touchdown of the season, as you mentioned, his first of the night. And the PAT attempt coming for Carter Griffin, who's hit a couple of them tonight. Missed a field goal earlier that was short, and that extra point is good, and that gives Prairie the 7-point lead back. But Dubuque Hempstead, the last 2 times they've had the ball, the last 3 times they've had the ball, touchdown, touchdown, and then a fumble after getting a first down thanks to a penalty, and then another first down before they turned the ball over. So they have shown they can move the football against this Prairie defense, so we'll see if they're able to continue to do that here in the fourth.
Got to be opportunistic, Bob. Got to know when to turn it on, how to do a complete 180. We're on defense, we're trying to stop him. All of a sudden now we create a fumble, a turnover, get their offense out there. We go right to Nick Pearson on some direct snaps.
And after that turnover, it didn't take long. 3 plays, 21 yards, and that 1-yard run by Pearson, who touched the ball on every offensive play, as he has pretty much, I think, this entire second half. It's been Pearson, Pearson, Pearson for the most part for Prairie.
And it only gives them a 1 touchdown lead. This game's far from over. We've seen what Dubuque Hempstead is capable of doing.
Ostrander back at the 5-yard line to receive the kick from Walter. A short pop-up to the 30-yard line where a clean grab is made by Brady Freiberger. Very little return and decent field position for Hempstead. They'll start at about the 33.
So it's really just a matter of Dubuque Hempstead keeping its poise, but moving the chains, getting that ball downfield. They're going to have to score, obviously. And they can do it. They've got the capability of moving the ball.
Dunn wants to go deep again, has his man, but overshoots the intended receiver. That is Keyshawn Hill, who had that touchdown grab earlier.
For number 39, Keyshawn Hill, falls incomplete.
Pretty good coverage out there by the Prairie Hawks. That was Mason Mahoney chasing him. It would have taken a perfect pass for that to happen. And, you know, it's nice to see Aiden Dunn just not afraid to take that chance.
Dunn will keep it, and he'll get near the first down, about a yard shy. Ball loose again.
But did the ground create the fumble? I think that's kind of what they're going to be saying here.
They're going to discuss it. They're going to give it to Prairie.
I didn't see it drop out of his hands, and I know Aiden Dunn is pleading with the official that he was on the ground. We'll see it here. He'll run for 9 yards on a nice play. We'll see if the Prairie Hawks don't knock it out of his grip as they gang tackle him down. Yep, it's gone.
That's definitely a fumble.
That's
great
out of there.
Wonderful camera work as always by the MC22 crew, and Hempstead is just killing themselves with the turnovers, their third of this game. As they once again were showing they could move the football. They were looking at a third and maybe a yard, but instead Prairie with the football on the Hempstead side of the 50. Amir, not much running room for him on the misdirection as he is dropped at the original line of scrimmage by Keegan Trilk, who's having quite a night for the Mustangs defensively.
He knifed through there and got to Tariq Amir. There was a gap in there off the right side, and Trilk comes in from right over top of center. If he's not there, that play picks up significant yards. As it is with the tackle by Trilk, keeps it to a 1 yard gain.
Williams wants to go deep. Receiver well covered though, so he'll nearly have it intercepted. He wanted to go originally to Adam Longwell. Couldn't get it to him. And then he ended up trying to go to Francois, I believe it is. No, it's not Francois, but Amir.
Yeah, well, he was looking down the middle at first and not there. So he had the opportunity to roll out to his left and find a receiver.
But he
probably at best should have just thrown it out of bounds, as opposed to trying to throw it in among.
Yep, kind of threw that into triple
defenders.
coverage, or ended up being triple coverage by the time the ball came down. 3rd down and 9. Williams chased from the backside by the defense, throws, almost intercepted and then dropped in and out of the hands of Isaac Wright on the defensive side, and good defense by the offensive player, Johnny Jones.
Well, Johnny, yeah, no doubt. Great description there, Bob, but the ball was thrown behind him. If Hunter leads him into the sideline, it's a 1st down for 11. So the play could have been successful had there been a better pass, but as it is, the Prairie Hawks going to have to punt over. You'll see Hunter rolling out to his left. He'll throw it, and it's just behind Johnny a little bit, allowed the defender to get there.
Yeah, they were kind of fighting over the ball for a moment, and it fell harmlessly to the turf. 4th down and 9. Wallert. Hempstead. Every once in a while I say Wallert. I don't know why. Too many Dubuque schools apparently. But anyway, they got in there and almost blocked that punt. It's down at the 17. That's where Prairie will start, or Hempstead will start 1st and 10 after only a 24-yard kick.
I think the good thing is, even though it was kind of a muffed kick, and I don't think he was really intended on kicking it as far as he could to go into the end zone to get the ball on the 20-yard line. But it still creates a long field for Dubuque Hempstead to have to take over this possession with 8 minutes to go.
I'm going to call him senior this time just because I don't want to leave
them out. Just for the fun of it. Right on. Give it a balanced effort here, Bob.
That's right. 1st and 10 yards to go at the 17.
Now, when you start getting to colleges out there between Loris and Dubuque and Clark, then we're going to know something's wrong.
Dunn going deep. He's got his man wide open. And making the catch and going for Another touchdown. That'll be the second touchdown of the night, as a matter of fact, for number 39. That is Keyshawn Hill. 83 yards this time, and there you go. We said that Hempstead has shown they can move the football, and once again, 3 turnovers, but now 3 straight possessions where they didn't make a turnover. They've scored a touchdown.
And Dunn was just trying to go roll to his left to throw an even a simple out pattern just to move the ball downfield, and he was forced to go back to his right, where this receiver, Keyshawn Hill, just running down the middle of the field but behind defenders, and long pass, reception, and a score.
Extra point for Ben Yeager.
Very important extra point.
And it is good, and that evens the score at 21 apiece. 2 catches, 152 yards, and a pair of touchdowns for Keyshawn Hill, who takes a well-deserved break on the Hempstead sideline in a tie football game at Cedar Rapids Prairie. There you see the man of the hour, Keyshawn Hill. What a night. Just 2 catches, but 152 yards. I bet he's never had a night like that before. Not too many people have at any level. And 2 touchdown receptions.
Well, the first thing he showed is he can run good patterns. The second thing he showed is he can catch the football. And the third thing is he showed the kind of speed that he has to get that ball into the end zone.
Yeah, that time he had to showcase it a little bit more than he did the other time, where he was totally behind the defense at the end of the first half. Prairie returns it to just outside the 30. And the Prairie crowd unhappy, as it appeared that Elijah Harrion might have been a little extra rough after the whistle. No flag though, and Prairie will have 1st and 10 at their own 37.
It's important for Cedar Rapids Prairie to have precise execution on what they're going to run, whether it's a running play or a passing play. I think they've kind of gotten a little bit loose, you know, with their focus on making sure that they execute each play properly. Hempstead's gained back some momentum here, Bob.
Yes, they have. Pearson cuts at the hash mark, and he'll go for about 9 yards on that first down play.
Nick Pearson, the ball carrier.
That Hempstead defense has spent an awful lot of time out on the field, so they're probably thankful that it's a cool night, but we'll see if they're able to hold up.
Yeah, but you know, the good thing is that they know their offense is capable of scoring no matter how much time they have to put out on the field. They know that they can slow down this Prairie offense. They just can't allow the big play and try to keep them out of the end zone.
They clearly know that Dunn to Hill is working. Being Hempstead, they tried it one other time and he was open, but he was overshot. Nice run by Amir to get the first down into Hempstead territory at the 47.
It's that counter play with Tariq Amir. They get, you know, a nice lead block with the pulling guard. They seal down. You'll see it. See, they pull that left guard, that left tackle. It's just massive humanity. Then they got to try to find Tariq Amir underneath there, and when they finally do, he's already picked up 8 yards.
Pearson, the direct snap, faked the handoff, kept it. Gets down to the 45-yard line, just inside. Gain of a couple on that first down play, brought down by Alex Hudson.
Hudson does a nice job from that defensive end position. Fights off the block. You'll see him on the left side, number 50, fighting off the block, getting through DeGroot. DeGroot doesn't even throw a block on anybody. So those are the things that make these plays go, Bob, is you've got to find somebody to block, and you've got to block them.
You'd go out there if they'd let you, wouldn't you?
No. Not at my age.
I think you would. Williams still a little bit behind the receiver, but able to make the catch was Clayton Scott. He'll be well shy of the first down, though, and it's 3rd and long for Prairie at about the 46.
I wouldn't be surprised, Bob, if they come back and run the same play, because Lane Schwarzenegger was wide open in that left flag area. Line him up at the tight end position. He's lined up on the right side this time. We'll see if they don't call the same play, but to the right side. Now he's gone over to the left.
The direct snap, Pearson pushing his way forward, but he'll be a yard shy of first down.
And all they got to do is just keep churning up positive yards, moving, get closer. They're going to go for it here on this 4th down play. Only got to get a yard. But, you know, this time I wouldn't be surprised even if they direct snap it to him, they might, you know, hand it off, you know, to a like a jet sweep or some kind of a counter tray with Tariq Amir.
This will be the 6th play of this Prairie drive. 4th and a yard.
Trying to draw them offside again. They act like they're looking over to the sideline to see if they can't draw Hempstead offside.
And Mark Bliss now calls timeout. Take the break with 4 minutes and 30 seconds to go. We take a look at what Prairie has ahead of them the rest of the way in this 2019 football season.
Didn't get any easier.
Nope. Jefferson next week right here, and then they go to Waterloo West, and finally a trip to the Unidome in Cedar Falls, where we will be on the 25th of October. It'll be a fun one that night, and I think everybody will be glad to be indoors at the end of October.
Everybody likes to play in the Dome, even if it's in the regular season, but they'd like to be playing there in the semifinal of their respective class and even in a championship game. But they're going to get there on the 25th, the final regular season game, and if, you know, this turns out if Prairie can end up winning this game, that could possibly be for a district championship. But they got to win this one first. I mean, you know, and Hempstead's got, you know, a little battle ahead of them because they've already lost 1 game in the district. They can't afford to lose another one and have any postseason expectations.
Big play coming up here for both teams, 4th and a yard. If Prairie is able to make this first down, they'll be able to churn a lot more time off the clock too. Pearson will get it, and he'll come near side, gets first down up over the 35 to the 32 or 3-yard line. Couple of defenders slow to get up.
Really no way to defend that at all. I mean, because they showed so often that they do that direct snap and they go between the tackles. And Nick, with great speed, he just goes to the outside, following Clayton Scott there. He don't even really have to throw any blocks. He just needs a yard, and he picks up yardage down to the 32.
Ty Hancock was one of the players a little slow to get up. He was gimpy in the first half at one point too, but was able to walk it off then, and he'll stay on the field this time. Pearson again, hit and dropped. Number 8 for the Mustangs, Andrew Hayful, made the stop.
I'll tell you, the guy that hit him first was Caden Lovett. Just bounced into him to turn him around. Lovett, number 69, he'll step in here and just, actually it was Hudson. I thought it was Lovett, but it was number 50 in there, Alex Hudson, that just had his back to him and just rushed him and stopped him.
No gain on that first down play. Now it's Amir. Good pursuit, but he's able to run away from the defender and get out of bounds. Being pursued by Molt Culberson, but he could not get him, and he has first down yardage down to about the 20.
That play was beautifully set up, and then Molt Culberson blows it up, and Amir being able to get away from him. Watch this, it's set up nicely off that left side. It's just that Molt Culberson doesn't take the block, and he just couldn't get a handle on that jersey. A lot of almosts in this game, Bob.
Pearson following the blockers. Another 5 yards to the 15 as the clock continues to run with 3:10 to go.
And again, they're just getting a nice offensive punch from that offensive line. Left and right, mixing up their formations, mixing up what they're doing in that backfield to keep that Dubuque Hempstead defense at bay.
Hempstead has all 3 timeouts left. This is the 10th play of this drive. Prairie has had the ball most of the second half. Nowhere for Williams to go.
And you can't put Nick Pearson back there in the Wildcat all the time, because now you know you're going to get direct snaps to him, and most of the time he's going to run the ball, if not exclusively. So you got to go back to your quarterback, and then you let him run. So doing a nice job of stuffing that ball on that left side of that offensive line. Adam Ward
kind of blew up Pearson, who was intending to block. As we near the 2-minute mark.
Now they've gone unbalanced right.
Pearson direct snap, goes right into that line again, inside the 10 to the 9-yard line.
All they needed was a first down.
And a late flag.
And unbalanced to the right. Direct snap to Nick Pearson, who's standing to the right of Hunter Williams at quarterback, and he's just pushing behind that offensive line.
Personal foul, late hit, or some sort of extracurricular activity against Waller.
He's going to move the ball inside the 5-yard line.
The penalty, personal foul against Hempstead.
It's a harmful penalty, especially now with just a minute 57 to go. Prairie can still run a couple more plays, Bob, get closer to the goal line, eat up some clock, and just leave that offense for Dubuque Hempstead a lot less time.
Well, and after that flag, they restart the clock as it continues to run with a minute 45 left.
See Brian Kula right there with a good look at on the field.
Pearson, the direct snap again, and he dives for the end zone, and he is in. Prairie has retaken the lead with 1:31 to go.
And that time they direct snapped it to him, and he does the fake to Tariq Amir, who's going in motion from right to left. Got to keep those linebackers, the defensive linemen, at bay, and it just allows him enough time. Watch it. Here's the fake, and then he just goes off that left side. He's got Moses Each out there in front of him. He's got Colton Staub in front of him.
Brian Bleen tried to get him down to the ground, but wasn't able to do it before he got into the end zone.
Here's a very important extra point kick.
Griffin will attempt the extra point. Good snap, kick right through the uprights, and Prairie has a 7-point lead with 91 seconds to go.
Well, so we saw some kind of a momentum shift that Prairie just regains just by using that powerful running game and a mixed up running game. It wasn't as if, they're running the same play all the time in different formation or in the same formation. They're mixing up their formations. They're going unbalanced. They're running from left to right. The direct snap thing was about the only thing that was consistent on that play, and Nick Pearson, the recipient of a lot of that yardage.
4-yard run by Pearson, 12 plays, 63 yards, as Prairie has really done a good job of eating up clock here in this second half. The quick strike offense from Hempstead on their last touchdown just a few moments ago. Well, they've had a couple of quick strikes through the air in this contest.
Well, Nick Pearson with 8 carries on that position, Bob. He had 35 yards out of the 63 total that it took for them to get downfield and score in 12 plays. So, as I talked about, you go to your money players, eventually down the stretch when you need them to appear.
Ostrander back at the 5-yard line as you get a look at him, hoping for a big return, you can bet. And A.J. Walter to boot it away. Had success with that short kick. Fair catch called for and made at around the 28-yard line by Brady Freiberger.
It's a nice move by Freiberger to fair catch it so no clock runs off, no chance for a fumble if it will be. Give that offense a chance to come out. Now, it's important for Cedar Rapids Prairie to not let any receiver behind them, but at the same time, you don't want to let patterns go deeper than 10 or 15 yards, 20 yards for receptions, because that also moves the ball downfield. There's still a lot of time left in this game. We'll see how Hempstead manages the rest of this time.
A lot of time and all 3 timeouts on the visitor side of the scoreboard. Dunn to throw, going deep again, has a man, and he caught that football. What a grab by Aiden Dunn. No, that's not Aiden Dunn, but Jackson Ostrander.
Unbelievable.
What a catch.
Absolutely. He was awkward, looking over his shoulder, beginning to turn around, reaches up with his right hand and tips it. He stops the momentum of the ball, the velocity of the ball, and somehow or other is able to corral it.
My, we'll get another look.
Here's the pass from Dunn, and you see right over the top with his right hand. Now, it's hard to tell whether or not he actually didn't have any help from the ground on that.
Boy, the Hempstead bench just went crazy when he caught it. They were just as astounded, I think, as we were, but what a big, big catch that was.
You see it right here. You see his right hand, stops it, keeps it right where it's at. Now, as he goes down,
I don't know. I don't think the ball moved. Well, it's hard to tell when because he's kind of, his body's in the way, if you will.
They don't have the benefit of replay to actually find out whether or not they can.
No, just give him that one for the
well,
effort.
Absolutely, just for the just for the highlight reel it was, man. That was a 34-yard reception, and then the next play, they turning around and trying to throw a pass as well. But what they're trying to do is get that ball out of bounds, keep that ball, use the sideline, move that ball closer. They've got to score a touchdown if they want to win this game. They've got to go for 2.
And 57 seconds left.
Now, we saw this with Cedar Rapids Kennedy 2 weeks ago with Prairie played. Prairie had a 21-7 lead at halftime. Kennedy overpowered them in the second half. A good, strong running game, a couple of big plays that broke it open. They ended up winning that game 35-28.
Well, this one is definitely coming down to the wire tonight at John Wall Stadium. Dunn, who had such a big game through the air last week, is having another successful one tonight. He'll throw deep again. Has a man, and it is incomplete. Intended for Ty Hancock.
He was just putting it up there.
Well, Hill and Hancock both were there, really.
He just was putting it up in the air versus throwing a direct pass. Had he thrown that ball to the left of Hill, made him run across the middle of that end zone, he's got himself another touchdown pass. You see, he just kind of throws it up there.
Yep.
And neither really had a shot at it. Colin Rickardson there on the defense.
Yeah, Hancock was quite a few yards away from the play. Definitely intended for Hill.
Now they need a first down as much as anything here.
Low snap. Dunn gets it, throws low, incomplete. Tried to make a diving catch down there, but not able to do it. Once again, Hill, the intended receiver.
Well, unless they can come up with some kind of a play where they can go to the end zone and have a reception, a miraculous reception, they need to get a first down. I'd roll him out again to the left. Just run the same play, basically. Protect for him, let him get outside and find a receiver on the outside, but it has to be enough for a first down.
Looked like that actually was catchable. And the Prairie crowd knows what a huge moment this is. 4th down, they could win it with a stop here. Dunn looks to throw, good pressure on him, throws complete, first down, and the intended, or the receiver, Ty Hancock, was able to make the grab, and Dunn slow to get up as he really took another hit.
Oh, he did. Boy, Ashton Stoner DeGroot just buried him. Watch him come to the top of the screen around that tackle. Just gets rid of it.
Unimpeded.
Oh.
Hempstead may be taking this timeout just as much for Dunn as anything else. 44 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, let him catch his breath here a little bit, get his marbles back. Doing that. That was some great pressure for Cedar Rapids Prairie.
There you see Dubuque Hempstead, their loss last week at Cedar Falls by just 4 points. And then next week they host Dubuque Senior. Then they'll be back in Cedar Rapids to play at Kingston against Cedar Rapids Jefferson, and in Waterloo to end the regular season at Waterloo West.
Yeah, so every game, definitely a winnable game. Tonight is the most important one right here. But they've got that crosstown challenge next week against Dubuque Senior, much like we see in Cedar Rapids with Kennedy Wash Jefferson, all of those rivalries. You can throw out the records because so many different things can happen. Well, they need 5-yard, 7-yard plays, 3 or 4 of them here in the 44 seconds that are left.
looks to throw. Wants to go to the end zone, throws it incomplete out of the corner of the end zone, intended for Ostrander.
That'll make you hold your breath there for a little bit. Dunn did a nice job, had some time to get to the outside. Puts it up deep into the corner of the end zone for Ostrander. Ostrander did a nice job of turning and looking where the sideline is. The ball well overthrown. But they need to get positive yards. They got to keep moving that football forward.
Lane Schwartzendruber there on the coverage on that first down play. Dunn throws, and it is caught. And once again, Harrion, his leading receiver on the season. And he has a first down, and it is 1st and goal to go with 30 seconds left and 1 timeout on the Hempstead side of the scoreboard.
Boy, what an effort by Dubuque Hempstead here. Dunn just finding Harrion. Harrion just runs a hook pattern right in the middle of the field. Got away from the flow.
Dunn will keep. And he is dropped at the 7-yard line. That's an interesting call with 10 seconds left.
Well, I think they were just trying to throw off Cedar Rapids Prairie, trying to confuse them, that they were going to throw the ball because they have thrown the ball so much.
Yeah.
They ran the one play. They knew they had the 1 timeout left here. But now they're going to be on the left hash, Bob, and I'd roll him out to his right. He's a right-handed quarterback. They're inside the 10-yard line. They have 10 yards of the whole end zone to use. If you can layer your receivers and stagger them, you get a chance to pick out any of the receivers that you want, but I would get him rolled out. And you never know that if any of that's covered, he could take that ball right into the inside corner of that end zone.
Well done has been...
We got them if they try to run. They couldn't put it in against Cedar Falls 4 times from the 2.
That's Andy
You
Kemple.
understand? They're gun shy, but respect every play they have. They're out of timeouts. If we get them inbound, right
Andy
here,
Kemple, the former Lindmar guy, high school world history teacher at Prairie High School.
Added 2 seconds to the clock. It is now at 13 seconds. And the home crowd is heard again. What I was going to say earlier was Dunn has taken a couple of big hits, but when he's rolled out, he's been able to stay away from the heat for the most part. He's going to roll right.
There he is.
Receiver, it is. Was it caught? Yes, touchdown.
Yep. Harrion.
Rolling through the end zone and making the grab, and the extra point now would tie it. Or will they go for 2? They've had a lot of success throwing the football. That would be a gutsy move, but we'll see what happens here.
Well, again, they rolled him out, and Stoner DeGroot just gets out of position. He needs to stay down, and as I talked about, you stagger your receivers. You've got them deep, you got them medium, you got them short, and you just pick one out. But Prairie let Dunn get outside the pocket. Now they're going to kick the extra point.
They are going to go for 2.
They're going to go for 2.
And now Prairie.
Well, they don't have a timeout, though.
Mark Bliss called timeout.
Ooh.
Well, he's screaming at the official down in the end zone, but he got it called.
Well, the thing about it is, Bob, and this is going to help Dubuque Hempstead, of course, too, and let them get organized. So as we take a look at the high snap, and Dunn able to corral it, but Stoner DeGroot runs by him. You got to keep that containment. And because once he gets outside, you've got receivers that are doing a variety of things. All they're doing is get into an open area. Yep. And that's exactly what happened. Harry gets in that open area.
Well, he got down low and made sure that he corralled that football. 28-27 with 7 seconds to go. And now, will they kick the extra point, or will they stick with the original plan and go for 2? It looks like they will.
Go for the win here, Bob. Well, they scored with, 1 second left in the first half, to close the gap to 14-7.
And 7 seconds to go in the fourth quarter to pull within 1. Dunn will run, and he will not make it.
Wow.
I'm just astounded they didn't throw the football. But they have had such huge success throwing in this game, but Dunn not able to get in. And the poor man obviously very distraught. His teammates help him up off the turf, and they head back to the Hempstead side of the field. Prairie, it appears, will hold on for a 1-point victory. What a finish to both halves we have had in this football game. It was 14-0 Prairie. And then Hempstead scored on the last play of the first half with 1 second left. They score with 7 seconds left in the fourth quarter to pull to within a point, and then decide to go for 2, playing for the win on the road, and they are not able to get the 2-point conversion successfully. So now comes the onside kick with just 7 seconds left. Prairie will call their final timeout. Ball was on the tee and ready to go for Ben Yeager, and Mark Bliss decided to call the special teams over and discuss that.
Make sure you're ready in case it goes to both levels. You got to be a little bit closer in case you got to jump on it. Hey, jump on it. Hey, let's go. We get this. Hey, bring it in. Bring it in. Let's go. Hey, let's get this ball, y'all. Family on 3. 1, 2, 3. Family. Let's go.
The intensity, you could feel it clear up here inside that Prairie huddle. Let's get this football. They know if they can get it, take a knee, and this win will be secured on the home turf. And the angst on both sides of the stadium as we await the onside kick from Yeager. He'll kick it over them, but a flag down. They're going to call offside against Hempstead. That was pretty good looking play too, trying to kick it behind all of the Prairie offensive players. Done 13 of 26, 309 yards through the air tonight, and this coming after last week's game when he threw for nearly 300 yards in that game last week. In that game, 258 yards passing. So this backs it up to the 35-yard line now, and Yeager will tee it up again. Now will they do the exact same thing? Yeager, nope, gonna kick it low this time, and it is fielded right at the 50-yard line by Prairie. And now they'll just have to take a knee to run off the last 6 seconds, neither team with any timeouts remaining. It's going to be a long bus ride home for Dubuque Hempstead, but man, what an effort tonight by them on the road, coming back from 2 scores down and then coming back from a touchdown down here in the final minutes to score with 7 seconds left. And that'll do it. The clock runs off, and Cedar Rapids Prairie has their 4th victory of the year, 28-27 over the visitors from Dubuque Hempstead in a fantastic Friday night high school football game here at John Wall Stadium. We'll be back and go down to the field for post-game interviews coming up in just a moment on MC22.
High school football on Mediacom MC22 is brought to you by McGrath Family of Dealerships, 5 Seasons Tire, the Tom Riley Law Firm, Klinger Paint and Interiors, Heartland Hearing Center, and by Extreme, powered by Mediacom.
It was a fantastic high school football game tonight. Definitely one of those you hate to see anybody lose. Hempstead failing on a 2-point conversion with 7 seconds left, and that preserves the victory for Cedar Rapids Prairie. Let's head down to the field. Mark Bliss. Jerry Koala is there with the head coach and some of the stars of tonight's game for the Hawks.
Well, a couple of stars for sure. Lane Swartzendruber to my left. We'll get to him. And then we've got Nick Pearson to the right. And head coach Mark Bliss, you know, you're coming out of non-district play. You had a very tough schedule. I guess it got a little bit tougher when you got into district play, but you're 2-0.
That's true. I tell you, the thing about with how our schedule set up, had some 2 really tough teams right out of the gates. And like I said, I'm just blessed and proud of our kids, the way they battled and competed tonight and found a way.
Strategy, you know, coaching moves, decisions, you know, all game long between the two of you, Brian Cool and yourself. But, you know, this Prairie team was able to sustain itself offensively. You didn't score a couple times, you know, but you had some good ball movement down the field, and it really was kind of a cat and mouse game.
That's true. You know, our biggest thing was just trying to chew clock because they got a big explosive offense and they got a couple good playmakers, sort of like what Dubuque Senior was last week. And so with that being said, that was our intentions, was to try to chew clock in the second half and keep our offense on the field as long as possible.
You know, it's interesting. You know, you got Nick Pearson. Of course, Tariq Amir really came out and played well tonight. Was that kind of in disguise form until you can get Nick?
Oh, absolutely. No, the thing about it is we're very blessed. These 2 young men in our backfield. It allows us an opportunity to have a 1-2 punch. And with that being said, allows us opportunities to move the chains and you know, put points on the board. And hopefully we can keep doing that. All
right, Coach. Stand here and talk to you all night long about football. But congratulations on the win here tonight. Best of luck to you next week.
I appreciate it. God bless, guys. Thank you.
Mark Bliss, the head coach with the Cedar Rapids Prairie Hawks. Now we're going to talk to Lane Swartzendruber. Lane, talk about that touchdown pass, that reception that you had. You spread out their defense. Did it set up nicely for this team?
Yeah, for sure. We had, I think, trips to one side, twins to the other side, and Hunter gave me a great ball, and our offensive lineman gave us, you know, plenty of time. He threw it up, and I was just able to go under it and make a play.
On the defensive side of the football, though, Lane, it looked like that this defensive backfield, albeit except for a couple of long touchdown passes, seemed like you guys were pretty well locked onto that receiving core for Dubuque Hempstead.
Yeah, for sure. They have some pretty good receivers that they were able to get a lot of receptions on us, and they were able to throw it over our head a few times that at the end of the day we came together and we were able to make a goal line stop.
So as you think about this win, Lane, what does it do for this football team now? You go 2-0 in the district.
Yeah, this is huge. We got more momentum going into Jefferson next week, which is our last home game for our district play, and then after that we have 2 more. So this is a great way to keep going through district play, and so now we just got to finish it out and go all the way to Cedar Falls.
All right. Congratulations on the win.
Thank you, sir.
Senior Lane Swartzendruber. Now we're going to talk to Nick Pearson. Nick, it seemed like it took a little while for you to get involved in the game. Was that by design, Nick, to kind of throw off this Dubuque Hempstead defense?
It came to our blocking scheme. We had struggling blocking up front, but by halftime we fixed those issues, draw them out, and then told the linemen, and then we got the ball rolling in out of their half.
So talk about this offensive line here tonight. They've been playing their hearts out for you, and you couldn't have got 374 yards last weekend without them, but then tonight over 100 yards again tonight. Talk about what this offensive line does for you and this offensive team.
This offensive line is truly amazing. It does everything for me. I mean, if I give props to anybody, it would be the linemen for sure.
Okay, so now you go to 2-0 in the district. You guys got a head of steam going. You can't look past Jefferson with Cedar Falls, you know, down the road. So what goes on with this team from here on out?
We just keep on trunking away, like Lane said, get that momentum in, and last home game, show our crowd who's boss, and just take it home.
All right. Well, congratulations on the win, Nick.
Thank you.
Prairie Hawks go to 2-0 in their district. Got a rivalry game with Cedar Rapids Jefferson coming up next Friday. We'll see what happens between the two. Bob?
Great job, Jerry. Nick Pearson tonight. 30 carries, 130 yards on the ground. You see the final stats from tonight's game. All those passing yards from Dubuque Hempstead. 412 total yards. They lead by 80 yards total in the game, but not on the scoreboard. That's where it matters most. Prairie victorious by 1 point tonight in a great game here at Cedar Rapids Prairie High School on Cedar Rapids South Side. Next week, the MC22 crew will be busy again. More high school football next week as it's Bettendorf taking on the Cedar Rapids Kennedy Cougars at Kingston Stadium. Until then, thanks for watching on MC22.